The Zixari Miscalculation. Admiral Zix Era stood on the bridge of the Zixari Empire's flagship, the Celestial Hammer, her iridescent scales shimmering under the soft blue light of the command center. Her 4 eyes, each a different shade of violet, scanned the holographic display before her, showing a small blue planet rotating peacefully in the vast emptiness of space. "Status report," she commanded, her voice a melodious trill that carried the weight of centuries of military experience. Her second-in-command, Commander Vexlor, stepped forward, his tentacles twitching nervously. "Admiral, we've completed our initial scans of the planet designated Earth. As expected, it's teeming with life, but the dominant species appears to be in a pre-spaceflight stage of development." Zixara's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. The Zixari Empire had been expanding for millennia, conquering or assimilating countless worlds. Their superior technology and hive-mind coordination had made them virtually unstoppable. This new planet, rich in resources and strategically located, seemed like an easy target. "Primitive, you say?" Zix Era mused. "Perhaps this will be nothing more than a simple harvesting operation. Prepare the landing parties." As the Zixari fleet positioned itself in Earth's orbit, undetected by the planet's rudimentary scanning systems, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the impending threat. It was a typical day on Earth. Politicians argued, scientists made breakthroughs, and ordinary people went about their lives. In a small research facility in Geneva, Dr. Elena Rodriguez was hunched over her computer, analyzing strange signals that had been picked up by radio telescopes around the world. Her colleague, Dr. James Chen, peered over her shoulder. "Elena, are you seeing this?" James asked, his voice tinged with excitement and a hint of fear. Elena nodded, her eyes wide. "It's not natural, James. These signals, they're structured, complex. This could be it. Proof of extraterrestrial intelligence." As they worked to decipher the signals, neither of them realized that they were intercepting the Zixari fleet's communications. Halfway across the world, in a top-secret military installation, General Sarah Hawkins was being briefed on a series of anomalies detected in Earth's orbit. "Ma'am, our satellites are picking up objects that weren't there yesterday," a young lieutenant reported. "They're massive, and they're not following any known orbital patterns." General Hawkins frowned. "Natural objects don't just appear out of nowhere. Get me the president on the line. We may have a situation." Back on the Celestial Hammer, Admiral Zix Era was growing impatient. "Commander Vexlor, why haven't we begun the landing sequence?" Vexlor's tentacles writhed anxiously. "Admiral, we've encountered an anomaly. Our probes are detecting unusually advanced electromagnetic emissions from the planet's surface. It appears the inhabitants may be more technologically capable than we initially thought." Zixara's mandibles clicked in annoyance. "Impossible. Our long-range scans showed no signs of spaceflight capability. These creatures should be barely out of their Stone Age." "That may be true, Admiral," Vexlor replied, "but the data doesn't lie. They've already detected our presence, though they don't seem to understand what they're seeing yet." The Admiral's scales shifted color, reflecting her agitation. "It matters not. We are the Zixari. We have conquered worlds far more advanced than this. Prepare the first wave of our invasion force. We'll show these primitives the futility of resistance." As the Zixari dropships began their descent towards Earth's surface, humanity's response was already kicking into gear. In military bases around the world, pilots scrambled to their jets. Missile defense systems were brought online. And in the halls of power, leaders grappled with the reality that they were no longer alone in the universe. President Laura Chen of the United States stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top advisors. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing an unprecedented crisis. Our planet is under attack by an alien force. As of this moment, we are at war." The first Zixari dropships breach Earth's atmosphere, their sleek, biomechanical forms streaking across the sky like falling stars. They targeted major cities: New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, expecting to find panicked, helpless populations ripe for subjugation. What they found instead was resistance. In New York, the first dropship to land found itself immediately under fire from police and hastily mobilized National Guard units. The Zixari warriors, expecting to face primitive weapons, were shocked by the effectiveness of human firearms. Commander Kazanar, leading the New York invasion force, watched in disbelief as several of his troops fell to human bullets. "Impossible," he hissed into his communicator. "These creatures wield projectile weapons of surprising power. We need reinforcements." Similar scenes played out across the globe. In London, RAF jets engaged Zixari fighters in stunning aerial battles over the Thames. In Beijing, the People's Liberation Army rolled out experimental electromagnetic pulse weapons, disabling Zixari technology and leaving the alien invaders vulnerable. Admiral Zixara, watching the chaos unfold from orbit, felt the first stirrings of doubt. "How is this possible?" she demanded. "They were supposed to be primitives." Commander Vexler's voice was grim. "It appears, Admiral, that we gravely underestimated this species. They may lack spaceflight, but their war-making capabilities are formidable." As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, the Zixari found themselves in a stalemate. They had expected an easy victory, a simple harvesting of a primitive world. Instead, they faced a united planet, a species that refused to go quietly into the night. In Geneva, Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Chen worked tirelessly to decipher more of the alien communications. Their breakthrough came just before dawn. "James, look at this," Elena exclaimed. I think I've cracked their language. At least partially." James leaned in, his eyes scanning the translations. "My God, Elena, this is their battle plans. We need to get this to the military immediately." As the sun rose on the second day of the invasion, humanity prepared for a counteroffensive. They had suffered losses, yes, but they had also learned. The Zixari were powerful, but not invincible. Their technology was advanced, but not incomprehensible. And most importantly, humanity had something the Zixari didn't expect: the indomitable will to survive, to fight, to protect their home against all odds. Admiral Zixara, her confidence shaken but her resolve still strong, addressed her fleet. "We may have underestimated these humans, but we are still the Zixari. We have conquered galaxies. We will not be defeated by a single backward planet. Prepare for full-scale invasion. We will crush these upstarts and remind the universe why the Zixari Empire is feared across the stars." Little did she know, the humans were preparing a surprise of their own. The battle for Earth was just beginning, and the Zixari were about to learn a harsh lesson about the species they had chosen to provoke. Humanity's unexpected response. As the sun rose on the third day of the Zixari invasion, the people of Earth awoke to a world forever changed. The initial shock had worn off, replaced by a grim determination that spread across the globe like wildfire. Humanity, faced with an existential threat, was rallying in ways that would have seemed impossible just days before. In Washington, D.C., President Laura Chen stood before a hastily assembled group of world leaders, their faces projected on screens around her. The United Nations Security Council had been expanded to include representatives from every nation, a testament to the unprecedented unity forged in the crucible of alien invasion. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Chen began, her voice steady despite the dark circles under her eyes, "we face the greatest threat in human history, but we also stand at the brink of our greatest triumph. The Zixari thought us weak, divided, easy prey. Let us show them how wrong they were." In orbit, aboard the Celestial Hammer, Admiral Zixara was facing a crisis of her own. The initial invasion had stalled, her forces bogged down in brutal urban combat across the planet's surface. The humans' resistance was unlike anything the Zixari had encountered in their long history of conquest. "How is this possible?" Zixara demanded, her scales flickering between shades of frustration and disbelief. They were supposed to be primitives. Commander Vexlor approached cautiously, his tentacles curled tight against his body in a sign of stress. "Admiral, we've analyzed their communications and military responses. It appears that while these humans lack unified global governance, they possess an incredible capacity for adaptation and cooperation in the face of external threats." Zixera's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Explain." "Their nations, once divided, have united against us. They're sharing technology, strategies, resources, and their military capabilities, while less advanced than ours, are surprisingly effective." On the plains outside of Novosibirsk, Russia, this effectiveness was being demonstrated in dramatic fashion. A Zixari assault force, pushing towards the city, suddenly found itself under attack from an unexpected direction. Below, the ground erupted as camouflage tanks, a joint creation of Russian and German engineering, burst from hidden underground hangars. Their main guns, hastily retrofitted with technology reverse-engineered from downed Zixari fighters, fired pulses of electromagnetic energy that shorted out the alien vehicle systems. Colonel Anastasia Volkova, commanding the counterattack, allowed herself a grim smile as she watched the Zixari forces fall into disarray. "For Earth," she muttered before barking orders for her forces to press the advantage. Similar scenes were playing out across the globe. In the skies over Brazil, a squadron of fighters, their hulls gleaming with a new radar-absorbing coating developed by a collaboration of American and Chinese scientists, ambushed a Zixari dropship formation. The alien craft, caught off guard by the stealth technology they thought beyond human capabilities, fell from the sky in burning wreckage. But it wasn't just on the battlefield that humanity was pushing back. In laboratories and workshops around the world, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of Zixari technology. In a subterranean facility beneath MIT, Dr. Aisha Patel stared in awe at the holographic display before her. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns of a Zixari power core. "Their energy manipulation is decades beyond what we thought possible." Her colleague, Dr. Marcus Reinhardt, nodded in agreement, but not incomprehensible. "Look here," he pointed to a section of the schematic. "If we can replicate this containment field, we could revolutionize our own energy production, possibly even our propulsion systems." As humanity's scientists made breakthrough after breakthrough, the tide of the war began to shift. Zixari advantages in technology and firepower were slowly being eroded by human ingenuity and determination. In Geneva, Paris, Rodriguez and Chen had made another crucial discovery. Elena's eyes were wide with excitement as she explained their findings to a panel of military and scientific leaders. "The Zixari communication network is vast and complex," she began, "but it has a fatal flaw. Their hive mind structure, which allows for incredible coordination, also makes them vulnerable to large-scale disruption." James picked up the thread. "We believe we can create a virus, a digital weapon that could infiltrate their network and cause widespread chaos in their command structure." General Hawkins leaned forward. Her interest piqued. "How long would it take to develop this weapon?" Elena and James exchanged glances. "With global cooperation and resources, a week, maybe less." As news of this potential game-changer spread, a new sense of hope began to kindle in the hearts of Earth's defenders. For the first time since the invasion began, victory seemed possible. But the Zixari were far from defeated. Admiral Zixera, reeling from the unexpected setbacks, decided to change tactics. If the humans would not bow to military might, perhaps they could be brought to heel through fear. "Prepare the world breaker," she commanded, her voice cold and filled with malice. "If these humans will not submit, we will show them the true power of the Zixari Empire." As the massive world breaker weapon was brought online, its ominous form eclipsing the moon from Earth's perspective, humanity faced its darkest hour. The weapon had the power to render entire continents uninhabitable, and its very presence in Earth's orbit sent waves of fear across the globe. President Chen, informed of this new threat, felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. But as she prepared to address the planet, she found strength in the resilience humanity had shown thus far. "My fellow citizens of Earth," she began, her voice broadcast to every corner of the globe, "we face a terrible new threat. The Zixari, frustrated by our resistance, seek to break our spirit with this weapon of mass destruction. But we will not be cowed. We will not surrender." Her voice grew stronger, filled with the indomitable spirit that had defined humanity's response to the invasion. Throughout our history, we have faced extinction-level threats: ice ages, plagues, world wars. Each time, we have emerged stronger, more united. This is no different. We are humanity. We are the species that looked at the impossible and said, "Watch us." As Chen's words rang out, a fierce determination settled over the people of Earth. In labs and factories, in military bases and civilian shelters, humans redoubled their efforts. The race was on, to complete the Zixari network virus, to develop defenses against the Worldbreaker, to find a way to strike back at the heart of the alien fleet. Admiral Zixari, watching the humans' continued defiance with a mixture of frustration and grudging respect, prepared to give the order that would demonstrate the full might of the Zixari Empire. Little did she know, humanity's greatest counterattack was about to begin, one that would shake the very foundations of her empire. As the Worldbreaker charged its main cannon, humanity held its breath. The next few hours would determine the fate of not just the Earth, but of two civilizations on a collision course. The Zixari were about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. The galactic stage, Earth's emergence. The Worldbreaker loomed in Earth's orbit, its massive form a constant reminder of the existential threat humanity faced. But in the shadow of this doomsday weapon, the people of Earth were far from idle. A plan was in motion, one born from the combined genius of the world's brightest minds and the desperate courage of a species fighting for survival. In a hardened bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Dr. James Chen put the finishing touches on their digital weapon. The virus, dubbed Prometheus, after the mythical titan who gave fire to humanity, was humanity's best hope for disrupting the Zixari command structure. "It's done," Elena said, her voice barely above a whisper. She looked at James, her eyes reflecting a mixture of hope and fear. "Do you think it'll work?" James squeezed her shoulder reassuringly. "It has to. We've poured everything we know about the Zixari network into this. Every scrap of data, every insight from their captured technology. If this doesn't work..." He didn't need to finish the sentence. They both knew what was at stake. General Sarah Hawkins entered the room, her presence commanding immediate attention. "Doctors, is Prometheus ready for deployment?" Elena nodded. "Yes, General, but we'll need to get it into the Zixari network. Their cybersecurity is unlike anything we've ever seen. We can't just transmit it from here." Hawkins' expression was grim but determined. "We have a plan for that. Operation Trojan Horse is already underway." Thousands of miles away, in the skies above the Pacific Ocean, that plan was being put into action. A squadron of stealth aircraft, their hulls coated with metamaterials that bent light around them, approached a Zixari command ship. In the lead plane, Captain Maya Tanaka checked her instruments one last time. "Remember, people," she said into her comm, "we get one shot at this. Our job is to get the insertion team onto that ship. After that, it's up to them." As the Earth fighters engaged in a daring raid, drawing the attention of the Zixari defenses, a small, nondescript shuttle detached from Tanaka's plane. Inside, a team of elite soldiers and hackers prepared for what might well be a suicide mission. Sergeant Jack O'Neill, leader of the insertion team, looked at his squad. "All right, folks. We're about to make history. First humans to board an alien spacecraft. Let's make it count." Using the confusion of the aerial battle as cover, the shuttle managed to dock with the Zixari ship. The boarding team moved swiftly through the alien corridors, their movements guided by intel gathered from weeks of studying Zixari technology and biology. Meanwhile, aboard the Celestial Hammer, Admiral Zixara was losing patience. "Why haven't we fired the world breaker yet?" she demanded, her scales shifting to a deep red of anger. Commander Vexler's tentacles twisted nervously. "Admiral, the weapon is still charging. The humans' constant attacks are forcing us to divert power to our defenses. We need more time." Zixara's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Time is something we don't have. These humans are proving far more troublesome than anticipated. Prepare a message to the Imperial Council. We may need reinforcements." Back on the infiltrated Zixari ship, Sergeant O'Neill and his team had reached their objective, the vessel's central computer core. As alien alarms blared and the sounds of approaching Zixari soldiers echoed through the corridors, the team's hacker, a young prodigy known only as Ghost, got to work. "Okay, uploading Prometheus now," Ghost muttered, her fingers flying over her custom interface. Come on. The tense seconds stretched into minutes as Ghost battled against the Zixari's alien firewalls and security protocols. Just as the sound of energy weapons became deafeningly close, she let out a whoop of triumph. "It's in. Prometheus is in the network." O'Neill grinned fiercely. "All right, team. Time to make our exit. Let's show these aliens how humans do a fighting retreat." As the insertion team battled their way back to their shuttle, leaving chaos in their wake, the effects of Prometheus began to ripple through the Zixari fleet. Ship after ship reported system malfunctions, communication breakdowns, and inexplicable errors in their targeting systems. On the Celestial Hammer, Admiral Zixara watched in horror as her once orderly invasion force descended into chaos. "What's happening?" she screeched, her usual composure shattered. Vexler's voice was filled with disbelief. "Admiral, we're being attacked from inside our own network. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. The humans have. They've turned our greatest strength against us." As Prometheus spread through the Zixari network like wildfire, the tide of the battle shifted dramatically. Earth's forces, coordinated by generals who had been waiting for this moment, launched a massive counteroffensive. Fighters swarmed the now disorganized Zixari fleet, while ground forces pushed back against the invaders with renewed vigor. In cities around the world, cheers erupted as news of humanity's successful counterstrike spread. The World Breaker, once an object of terror, now hung impotently in orbit, its systems scrambled by Prometheus. President Chen, watching the battle unfold from the Situation Room, felt a surge of pride in what humanity had accomplished. "General Hawkins," she said, her voice steady, "I think it's time we took this fight to them. Prepare our orbital defenses. We're going to show the Zixari that humanity is ready to claim its place among the stars." As Earth's hastily assembled space fleet, cobbled together from repurposed satellites, experimental spacecraft, and captured Zixari technology, prepared to launch, a new signal caught the attention of listening posts around the world. Dr. Rodriguez, still monitoring communications from her bunker, frowned as she analyzed the new transmission. It's not Zixari," she said, her voice filled with wonder. I think we're picking up communications from other alien civilizations." The implications were staggering. Earth's battle against the Zixari had not gone unnoticed. Other spacefaring races, long cowed by the Zixari Empire's might, watched in awe as a supposedly primitive world stood against the invaders. Among the stars, whispers spread of the species that dared to challenge the Zixari. Humanity, unknown and unremarkable just days before, was suddenly the talk of the galaxy. On a distant world, in a chamber of crystalline beauty, the Luminary Council convened an emergency session. Elder Zilax, her luminescent form shimmering with excitement, addressed her peers. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her telepathic voice resonating through the chamber, "we have witnessed something unprecedented. A young race, barely out of its planetary cradle, has done what we long thought impossible. They have defied the Zixari Empire. Murmurs of astonishment rippled through the assembly. Another council member, Thorak of the Volcran Confederation, spoke up. "What do you propose, Elder Zoilax? Surely we cannot stand idly by while this fledgling race faces the full might of the Empire." Zilax's form pulsed with determination. "No, we cannot. For too long, we have allowed the Zixari to dominate our galaxy through fear. These humans have shown us that they can be resisted. I propose we send envoys to this Earth. It's time we welcome them to the galactic community." As the Luminary Council debated, other races made their own plans. Some saw in humanity potential allies against Zixari oppression. Others viewed Earth as a curiosity, a primitive world that had somehow stumbled onto the galactic stage. And a few, those with old grudges against the Zixari, saw an opportunity for long-awaited vengeance. Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the ripples they were causing across the cosmos, humanity prepared for the next phase of their fight for survival. As their ships rose from the planet's surface, carrying with them the hopes and dreams of billions, they were about to discover that their victory against the Zixari was just the beginning. The galaxy was watching, and Earth's emergence was about to change everything. Human ingenuity unleashed. As Earth's hastily assembled space fleet ascended into the stars, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era. The Zixari invasion, while devastating, had forced unprecedented advancements in technology and global cooperation. Now, with the alien armada in disarray thanks to the Prometheus virus, it was time for humanity to press its advantage. Aboard the ESS Horizon, Earth's flagship and a marvel of human engineering and reverse-engineered Zixari tech, Admiral Kira Chen, no relation to the president, surveyed her bridge crew. Each member represented the best their nations had to offer, a testament to the global unity forged in the crucible of war. "Status report," Chen commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of history on her shoulders. Her XO, Commander Rajpatal, responded promptly. "All systems nominal, Admiral. The fleet is in formation and awaiting your orders. Zixari forces remain scattered and disorganized." Chen nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "Then it's time we show them what humanity can really do. Signal the fleet. Operation Slingshot is a go." Across the fleet, engineers and scientists put the final touches on humanity's secret weapon. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, lead scientist on the project, watched nervously as the massive device hummed to life. "Are you sure this will work?" asked her assistant, Dr. Mohammed Al-Fayed. Yuki's eyes never left the readouts. "Theoretically, yes. In practice, we're about to find out." Operation Slingshot was the culmination of weeks of frantic research and development. By combining Zixari gravity manipulation technology with cutting-edge human theoretical physics, Earth's scientists had created a device capable of generating localized wormholes. If it worked, it would revolutionize space warfare and give humanity a decisive edge. As the Earth fleet engaged the still-reeling Zixari forces, the true purpose of the attack became clear. They weren't just fighting. They were herding the alien ships into a specific formation. Aboard the Celestial Hammer, Admiral Zixara watched in growing alarm as her fleet was maneuvered into what was clearly a trap. But with her command network still in chaos from the Prometheus virus, she was unable to coordinate an effective response. "We need to retreat," she hissed, her scales flickering between shades of fear and rage. "These humans are not the primitives we thought they were. We must regroup and—" Her words were cut short as space itself seemed to tear open around the Zixari fleet. Swirling vortexes of energy, the mouths of artificial wormholes, engulfed entire squadrons of alien ships. In the blink of an eye, a significant portion of the Zixari armada simply vanished. On the bridge of the ESS Horizon, a cheer went up. Admiral Chen allowed herself a brief moment of elation before refocusing on the task at hand. "Where did we send them?" she asked. Commander Patel consulted his displays. Tracking now. It appears the wormholes deposited them in deep space, several light years from here. They're alive, but it'll take them weeks to get back, even with their FTL drives. Chen nodded grimly. Good. That should buy us the time we need. Signal all ships, press the attack. Let's end this invasion here and now. As the battle raged in space, Earth itself was undergoing a transformation. The necessity of war had accelerated technological progress at an unprecedented rate. Cities damaged in the initial invasion were being rebuilt with new advanced materials. Energy grids were overhauled with Zixari-inspired technology, providing clean, nearly limitless power. In a sprawling complex outside of Tokyo, Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura led a team working on one of the most ambitious projects in human history. The neural interface is stable, he reported, his voice filled with barely contained excitement. We're ready for the first full-scale test. Before him stood a towering humanoid mech, a fusion of Earth robotics and Zixari biotechnology. As the test pilot's mind linked with the machine, the mech came to life, moving with a grace that belied its massive size. Similar breakthroughs were happening all over the globe. In Brazil, scientists perfected a method of rapid reforestation using modified Zixari terraforming techniques. A team in South Africa developed new medical technologies that promised to cure diseases long thought incurable. But perhaps the most profound changes were happening in the realm of space technology. With the secrets of Zixari FTL drives unlocked, humanity was preparing to take its first steps into the wider galaxy. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, now rebuilt and fortified against future attacks, President Laura Chen addressed a historic session of the General Assembly. My fellow citizens of Earth, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the globe. Today marks a turning point not just in our war against the Zixari, but in the very history of our species. We stand at the threshold of a new era. She paused, letting the weight of the moment sink in. The stars are no longer out of our reach. The galaxy is opening up before us, filled with wonders and, yes, dangers. But we have proven that humanity is ready to face whatever challenges await us out there. As Chen spoke, screens around her displayed images of Earth's achievements. The new cities rising from the ashes of war, the advanced technologies that were reshaping society, the ships that would soon carry human explorers to distant stars. We did not ask for this war, Chen continued, her voice growing stronger. The Zixari forced it upon us, thinking us easy prey. But in doing so, they awakened something they could not have foreseen. They united us. They pushed us to achievements we might have taken centuries to reach on our own. In orbit, the battle was drawing to a close. The remaining Zixari ships, outmatched and demoralized, were beginning to retreat. Admiral Kira Chen watched with a mixture of relief and pride as the enemy fleet fled. Should we pursue? Commander Patil asked. Admiral Chen shook her head. No, let them go. Let them carry word back to their empire of what happened here. Let the galaxy know that humanity is not to be trifled with. As the Zixari remnants disappeared into the depths of space, a new signal caught the attention of Earth's communications officers. It was like nothing they had ever encountered before, clearly artificial but utterly alien. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, monitoring from her lab on Earth, felt a chill run down her spine as she decrypted the message. My God, she whispered. It's a greeting. From another alien species. They're congratulating us. The message spread quickly through Earth's leadership. Humanity, in defending itself against the Zixari, had unknowingly announced its presence to the wider galactic community, and that community was responding. President Chen, informed of this development mid-speech, took a deep breath before addressing the world again. My fellow humans, I have just received word that we are not alone in standing against the Zixari Empire. Other intelligent species, long oppressed or hiding from Zixari dominance, have reached out to us. They are offering friendship, alliance, and a place among the stars. A murmur of astonishment rippled through the assembly and across the globe. Chen's voice rose with the swell of emotion. We entered this war fighting for our very survival. We emerged from it not just victorious, but on the cusp of a new chapter in human history. The galaxy awaits us, and we will meet it not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals. As Chen's words echoed across Earth and into space, humanity stood united, looking to the stars with newfound confidence and wonder. The Zixari had indeed chosen the wrong species to provoke. In doing so, they had not just awakened a formidable enemy, but had catapulted an entire civilization into a new age of exploration, innovation, and cosmic destiny. The war was ending, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. Reshaping the cosmos. 5 years had passed since the Zixari invasion, and Earth had undergone a transformation that would have seemed impossible only half a decade earlier. The planet, once an isolated blue marble in the vast cosmic ocean, now stood as a beacon of innovation and resilience in the galactic community. In the gleaming spires of New Geneva, a city that had risen from the ashes of the old and now served as Earth's diplomatic capital, representatives from a dozen alien species gathered for a historic summit. The newly formed Galactic Concordat, an alliance of free worlds united against the tyranny of empires like the Zixari, was about to welcome its newest and most surprising member, humanity. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now Earth's foremost xenolinguist and a key figure in interstellar diplomacy, stood at the podium, her eyes scanning the diverse assembly before her. Luminescent Arcturians floated serenely next to the crystalline forms of the Folians. The insectoid Vesperi buzzed quietly in conversation with the gaseous Nebulans, and there in the center sat the human delegation, the visible reminder of how far they had come. Distinguished representatives of the galaxy, Elena began, her words automatically translated into a dozen different languages. 5 years ago, humanity fought for its very survival against an enemy we had never known existed. Today, we stand before you not as victims or conquerors, but as partners in a grand cosmic endeavor. As Elena spoke, screens around the chamber displayed images of Earth's recent achievements. Massive space elevators stretched from the planet's surface into orbit, their gleaming cables a testament to human engineering enhanced by alien knowledge. Terraforming projects, using a combination of Earth ecology and extraterrestrial techniques, were transforming Mars and Venus into habitable worlds. The Zixari sought to subjugate us, Elena continued, her voice strong and clear. Instead, they unleashed a potential they could never have foreseen. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to take the impossible and make it reality. In orbit above Earth, the fruits of that adaptability were on full display. The Harmony Array, a vast network of satellites and space stations, formed a protective shield around the planet. But it was more than just a defense system. It was a hub of scientific research, a port for interstellar trade, and a symbol of Earth's new role in the galaxy. Aboard the array's central station, Admiral Kira Chen, now head of Earth's Space Force, watched the proceedings in New Geneva with a mixture of pride and caution. The last 5 years had taught humanity valuable lessons about the wonders and dangers that lurked among the stars. Status report, Chen requested, her eyes never leaving the holographic display of local space. Her XO, now Captain Rajpatal, responded promptly. All quiet, Admiral. Long-range sensors show no unusual activity in the sector. The Zixari border remains stable. Chen nodded, allowing herself a small smile. The Zixari Empire, while still a threat, had been greatly diminished by their defeat at Earth and the subsequent rebellion of many of their subject worlds. The galaxy was reshaping itself, and humanity was playing a pivotal role in that transformation. Back in New Geneva, Elena was concluding her address. As we join the Galactic Concordat, we bring with us not just our technology or our resources, but our spirit. The human spirit that refuses to submit, that always seeks to explore, to understand, to grow. We offer this spirit in friendship to all peaceful species of the galaxy." As applause filled the chamber, a commotion near the back caught Alina's attention. A figure, cloaked and hooded, was making its way towards the podium. Security tensed, but the alien representatives seemed more curious than alarmed. The figure reached the stage and slowly lowered its hood, revealing the iridescent scales and multiple eyes of a Zixari. A hush fell over the assembly. "I am Vexilor," the Zixari announced, his voice carrying a hint of the musical trill characteristic of his species. "Once, I was a commander in the fleet that sought to conquer your world. Today, I come before you as a refugee, a representative of those within the Zixari Empire who wish for change." Alina, recovering quickly from her surprise, gestured for Vexilor to continue. The former commander's words painted a picture of an empire in turmoil, shaken to its core by the defeat at Earth and the subsequent loss of its aura of invincibility. "Many among my people now question the path of endless conquest," Vexilor explained. "We have seen in humanity a different way, a path of cooperation and mutual growth. I come seeking not just asylum, but partnership. There is much our peoples could learn from each other." As Vexilor spoke, Alina couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. The very species that had threatened humanity's existence was now looking to them for guidance, for a new way forward. In the following days, as news of Vexilor's defection spread, Earth found itself at the center of a galactic political storm. Some members of the Concordat were wary of any dealing with the Zixari, while others saw it as an opportunity for lasting peace. Humanity, drawing on its long and complex history of conflict and reconciliation, took on the role of mediator. Earth's leaders argued passionately for a path of cautious engagement, of turning enemies into allies through understanding and shared progress. As debates raged in diplomatic chambers, humanity's influence continued to spread across the stars. Earth's unique blend of tenacity, creativity, and adaptability proved to be valuable assets in the complex tapestry of galactic civilization. On a distant world, human terraformers worked alongside Arcturian ecologists to restore a polluted ecosystem. In the reigns of a gas giant, Earth engineers collaborated with Nebulon architects to construct habitats that could support a dozen different species. And in research labs across the galaxy, human scientists partnered with alien counterparts, pushing the boundaries of knowledge in fields ranging from quantum physics to xenobiology. 10 years after the Zixari invasion, humanity celebrated a milestone that would have seemed like pure fantasy not long ago: the launch of the first human-led interstellar exploration mission. The Starship Magellan, a marvel of human innovation and alien technology, prepared to venture beyond the boundaries of known space. Captain Zara Okonkwo, standing on the bridge of the Magellan, felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Her crew, a mix of humans and aliens, represented the best of what the galaxy had to offer. As the ship's engines hummed to life, preparing for the jump to FTL, Zara addressed her crew, and through them, all of humanity. "When the Zixari came to our world, they thought they had found an easy conquest. Instead, they awakened a sleeping giant. But the true measure of our species is not in our ability to fight, but in our capacity to grow, to learn, to reach out in friendship even to those who once sought to destroy us." The stars on the view screen began to stretch as the Magellan prepared to leap into the unknown. Zara's voice swelled with emotion and purpose. "We go forth now, not in search of conquest or domination, but in a spirit of exploration and cooperation. We carry with us the hopes and dreams not just of humanity, but of all the species who now call us friends and allies. The Zixari chose the wrong species to provoke, yes, but in doing so, they helped forge a humanity ready to take its place among the stars." As the Magellan disappeared into the swirling vortex of FTL travel, Earth watched with pride and anticipation. The planet that had once been a tiny, isolated world in a vast and indifferent universe now stood as a beacon of hope and progress for countless civilizations. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity. The stars, once distant and unreachable, now beckoned with endless possibilities. And humanity, tempered by invasion, united by adversity, and inspired by the wonders of the cosmos, was ready to answer that call. The dawn of a new era had truly begun, and the shape of the future was limited only by the boundless human imagination.